Hi guys, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming, and today we're taking a look at Star Trek Infinite. Star Trek Infinite is a 4X strategy game based very heavily on Stellaris. I was never the Stellaris guy on the channel, that was always Snare. I do own Stellaris, but I've not played it a great deal, so I'm not really in a position to be able to compare the two, but I am given to understand it is based on a slightly older build of a Stellaris that was then given to Nimble Giant Entertainment to go and make a Star Trek game with. I understand Paradox did have input and were available for advice and suggestions, things like that. So there you have it. I think the giant sort of elephant in the room is why, when there are mods that turn Stellaris into Star Trek anyway. This is just kind of like an official version of the of the mods, if you like. It is not as expensive as a full game. It is only $26.99 on Steam, which is part of the reason why I got it, because it was fairly inexpensive. I do take issue with the Steam page description though. The Steam page description says Star Trek Infinite is a grand strategy experience that lets you play your own Star Trek story as a leader of one of 4 major factions in the galaxy. Follow the specially crafted story or blaze your own trail in the first Star Trek grand strategy game. Now that last part is what I take issue with there. Being an old boy, I have Birth of the Federation, although I can't actually get it to run anymore. But that was the first grand strategy game, 4X Star Trek game that there was. We just seem to have forgotten about it. And it was a damn good one actually, so screw you. I'm not up for that. So yes, Star Trek Infinite, you will notice a lot of similarities in the UI between this and Stellaris, obviously. There's going to be a whole bunch of comparisons to Stellaris because it is essentially a modified Stellaris, basically. A modified build of Stellaris that's given all the Star Trek sort of bits and bobs and ships and all that stuff. Now, it is apparently as well slightly, I don't want to say dumbed down, but streamlined would probably be a better way of putting it. I am enjoying my time with it, but it is very much a case of still being on a learning curve. What I find is I haven't actually finished a run with any of the factions. I'll start a game and then I'll realise, oh, I've overextended myself, shit, so I'll restart it. And then I'll realise my resources are all in the negatives and I'm losing badly. And I'll be like, shit, I need to keep a better eye on that. And then I'll be like, okay, well, I'm not overexpanded, I've got resources, that's good, let's go try and conquer this independent power, and then immediately get my ass kicked because I underestimated how tough they were. I'm just like, it's a little minor power that I can barely remember of being in the Star Trek universe. How bad could it be? It was pretty bad. About half of my ships had shields and all of their ships had shields, so you could probably guess from that how well it went, as in not well at all. The factions that you get to choose from are Klingon, United Federation of Planets, Romulan and Cardassian. Cardassian makes sense because it's like one of the sort of bigger powers in the, I think they're in the Beta Quadrant. I think the one on the left was, yeah, oh, one of the other. I'll stop trying to remember, it's been a while. But so it makes sense their inclusion, but they do seem to be like, generally speaking, in games the Cardassians are the bad guys, like Bridge Commander, what's the Fallen, Deep Space Nine, the Fallen, stuff like that. They're always cast as the bad guys and not the race you generally play as. So it was nice to be able to actually play as them for once. All the races have their own particular strengths and weaknesses. So obviously United Federation of Planets are going to be a lot more diplomacy based, and there's a lot sort of less you can do from a military standpoint unless you research certain trees, in which case you become a bit more militaristic. The Klingons obviously want to murder everybody, just every person they can find. As long as it's honourable murder, then it's alright by them. The Cardassians are obviously a bit sneaky, excelling in spycraft and subterfuge, while still having, you know, a reasonable military presence. And the Romulans are, they're a bit more varied than the others in that they do have the military power, and also they can do the sneaky stuff. So it's nice to see, and you know, you can, as you go through, you will sort of unlock more abilities and weapons and bonuses, so you can get like your mines to be more productive through research. You can get new weapons for your ships, get cloaking devices for your ships, stuff like that. And then you have planets as well, which obviously produce resources. You put specific building in, you try and keep up with the population growth and the unemployment growth. And then you have emissaries you can send to other empires to improve your standing with them. They have all the diplomacy stuff, so you can open borders, you can declare wars, you can claim systems, and this opens up a different, like a proper invasion type war option, rather than just like military defeat and like thumbing your nose at them option, which is a bit wasteful. It's like you go in there, you like lose a load of your ships, destroy a load of their ships, and then you're like, I'm not going to take your territory. What's the point then, other than just to be an asshole? One thing I do like is there's anomalies, so you send your survey ships out to chart systems, and in systems you will find anomalies, and they give you like a small story to go through where you sort of research the anomaly, and you make different choices which give you different benefits as you go through. They're nothing more than like single screen artwork with a choice at the bottom, but you might get like 2 or 3 stages out of each of them, and it sort of breaks up the monotony of waiting for your resources to top up, and then being able to sort of build a new star base and expand a bit more, or you know, build more ships so you can like finally kick the ass of that, you know, fucking civilization who should have been overwhelmed by your mighty star empire but wasn't. I think not having played Stellaris to death, it was easier.
But neither are you.
It makes me sort of more appreciative of the game because I'm getting into it now. I think if I went to Stellaris after playing this, I'm not sure I would like it less, but I think it would ease me into Stellaris because I understand that that's a bit more complicated than this is. Certainly, this itself is quite complicated for someone like me, i.e. someone that's a bit stupid. But I certainly am having good fun with it. It's very gratifying to sit back and see like how much of the map you're currently occupying with your star empire. And obviously, I'm going to push on, and I shall. I've played as all 4 factions, as said, and abortive runs for most of it, but I am probably going to restart again after my latest faction. The Romulans got their asses kicked by a tiny little 2-system empire. Wonderful. All my ships were destroyed. I was like, yeah, well, I've got the second tier ship open up now. I should be able to go in there and kick some ass. No. Did not happen. The ship building is, from what I can recall, pretty much the same as Stellaris. You unlock new systems for your ships, and you can either let the AI basically assemble the best ships for you, or you can go in and manually say, okay, I want this on the ship, I want it looking like this, you know, amending it in that way. And then one nice thing is, as you upgrade, you can send existing ships back for refitting, so you can keep them current with your new technology, which is really nice, so you don't have to build new ships and just have like old pieces of crap flying about until they get destroyed, costing you resources because the ships have an upkeep. So it's nice that you can upgrade it. It is Star Trek as well. It is set in like the TNG DS9 era of Star Trek. There's no Discovery, there's no Strange New Worlds, there's no Picard, none of like New Trek, which personally I find to be completely nauseating and of no interest to me. So having it set in like my favourite part of the Star Trek timeline is just awesome. And they've got so much to pull from. There is an endgame catastrophe that you have to deal with. I'm not going to say it here, but I'm pretty sure most people can guess what it is. It is it is what it is. I mean, I haven't reached it yet because I've been restarting so much. But, you know, it is nice to have an endgame challenge. I've heard that some people, it was less of an endgame challenge and more of a mid-game sort of steamrollering, you know, against the crisis. So I'm not sure how difficult it would be, but considering I just had a tiny little minor power kick my ass, I imagine it's going to be a challenge for me. But yeah, I mean, the real question you need to ask yourself is, if you're a big Stellaris player, do you want to play Stellaris Lite with a Star Trek veneer and, you know, pay the money to do it, or do you just want to stick with modding Stellaris? And, you know, as much as I like the game, I'm not played that much with Stellaris, so it's not like it's coming across as like old hat to me, or just like, why am I paying for this when I could just mod and have a more in-depth version of it for free? I think that's the big rub of it. It does raise an interesting question whether they're going to like continue and do like maybe a Battlestar Galactica version. Hopefully the 80s. I didn't like the 90s. Just a load of sweaty, unpleasant people being mean to each other. No thank you. Ugh. It's probably just me. I know it's very popular. Or something like that. You using, you know, Babylon 5 maybe. Stuff like that. Maybe if they get other licenses, they could do like different versions of it. That would be interesting. But I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm relatively certain that modders will have tried that themselves, and then you'll be in the same position. But for oiks like me, where it's just like, yeah, I'm fine with that. It's just nice to have a Star Trek 4X game, you know. I keep mentioning Birth of the Federation in my videos. I really need to see if I can get that going by some miracle, because that was a really good game, and it was almost a forgotten game. You know, clearly Paradox forgot about it because of the description on the Steam store. So maybe if I get that going, maybe it'll be of some interest to you guys to actually see what it looked like and how it played. I remember the battles being significantly better than they are in this, because the battles are just like, the icons, you can zoom in, but like you send your icon across to here and then you can zoom in and sort of just watch them fly around shooting at each other. It's not particularly cinematic, it's just like you're just waiting for it to be over basically. Whereas the, as I recall, because it's been years, the Birth of the Federation went into its own sort of cinematic mode for the battles. So that was quite cool. I mean, a lot of the time, because I'd just Zerg rush, pretty much. There would just be a flurry of photon torpedoes, and the other side would just go poof. But yeah, I'll see if I can get it going. I've tried many times before, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe, you know, Windows 11 will be more forgiving when it comes to Birth of the Federation. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got time for this week. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next time.
Research finalized. Our technological genius amazes even us. We must learn from this failure.